obviously, you were mentioned in the book, The Game by Neil Strauss, which came out pretty much exactly 20 years ago to this
Wow.
month. You got into you were already interested in women, but how did you come to connect with the community itself and then Neil Strauss and Mystery and all those other guys?
Well, I remember, man, back in the Mozilla days when you had to screed, scrounge, get onto the internet. And I remember there was the alt, alt, alt fast seduction, I think it was, or these
Yeah.
bulletin boards. Remember the bulletin board? Fastseduction.com was a bulletin board. And I was posting on there. And then Mystery and Neil at the time, nobody knew that Neil was a journalist. He called himself, can't remember what his style. He was style, but he was a journalist for Rolling Stone and New York Times, and he never kind of told anybody. He was kind of going undercover, and he was chilling around with Mystery, and Mystery created something called the Mystery's Lounge, which was somebody's name.com/system32 slash sub. So it was not, you couldn't find it. It was completely hidden off the internet, off the world. It wasn't scraped by Google or anything. And you had to know people to get into it. And so there was about 30 or 40 of us back in the day. And I remember you had to be vouched for by two of the people that you're actually doing something and you're one of the ones who has something really interesting to say and not just random people. And everybody heard about this. It was rumored that Mystery had this lounge and Stahl was in it. Stahl was one that recommended me or vouched for me. And I remember an early Tyler Durden, Owen Cook, who was, I think he was 18 at the time, and he got in there before it all shut down. We had a volume, the content of the conversation in that group was a year or so of posting, and it's all lost. The entire thing got lost. And some of the best stuff that ever said, I think, in those early days was posted there, and it's lost because whoever had the server, it blew up one day and it's gone. But anyway, that's early early anecdotes. My goodness. So that's how I met these guys. And then, here's an anecdote for you guys. When the game came out, Vanity Fair, GQ magazine, they're all buzzing about this best-selling book by Neil Strauss. I got an email from Neil, a call from Neil. I was in Canada. And he said, "Hey, Zan, listen, I've been asked to go on The View. ABC asked me, the producers called me and said, we want to interview you on The View. And you're the only one in this community that I think is really can handle women. So, and they asked me to bring somebody. Will you come with me?" I said, "Sure." So ABC contacted me, and this is a little just anecdote. ABC contacted me and said, "Okay, here's your flight ticket. Here's your hotel in New York City for 5 days, and we're shooting on this Thursday or Friday, whatever it was." So I'm in the air flying, gonna land. We're gonna shoot the View segment the next day. And when I landed from the plane, I had an email from the producer from ABC and said, "We're very sorry, Zan. We had to change our scheduling because of Hurricane Katrina. We had to we had to readjust everything because of the urgency of that. So we filmed the View segment with Neil today. I was supposed to be on with him tomorrow, but we had to rush it up. So we filmed it with just Neil, and we're very sorry. Enjoy Manhattan on us." So I was supposed to be on The View, but Hurricane Katrina, cock blocked by a woman, you know?
I was thinking the same thing. Now it's crazy. You mentioned it was interesting. You mentioned how those all those resources and comments, messages, bulletin board kind of things, forums got lost
Yeah.
because over time it's not just unique to those websites, but I've seen this happen over the years. Just about 7 years ago, there was a real social dynamics closing down their
Yeah.
groups, and then all of those things got lost, and I participated on that too. So if you had only ever posted there and not backed it up
Yeah.
yourself, and that's your like your own backup rather than backing
Yeah.
up other people's stuff, then it's all lost. So what I realized with what we're doing at Game Global, we need to preserve all of this
Yeah.
knowledge and make it accessible. So one thing I was doing I made a timeline article on
Hmm.
the seduction community over years, for example, and I found in 2 AD there was a Roman philosopher who came up with, I think, a series of free books or something. I
Yeah,
can't remember his name exactly, but the
all of it.
book was Ars Amorata, which your YouTube
Ars
channel,
Amatoria. There's another story.
Ars Amatoria, yeah, that's the
I'll
one.
tell you a story about that. He was a Roman poet named Ovid, and he got kicked out of Rome, and he went to basically Constanza in Romania, which is 2 hours drive from where I am right now. It's on the Black Sea. He was exiled to a Roman town in Con, Con, Constanza, and he wrote three books while he was in Rome called the Ars Amatoria, and that's proper Latin, and it means the art of love, basically the book of the art of love, Ars Amatoria. And 20 years ago, when the game came out, I was interviewed by a woman in Maclean's magazine, and she posted the article, and she put in there, Zan has been influenced by literary influences like Benvenuto Cellini, Casanova, and Ovid, who wrote Ars Amorata. She made a misprint. She was supposed to be Ars Amatoria. She wrote Ars Amorata. So I stole it, registered trademark, and it's been my brand ever since for 20 years. Ars Amorata. I wrote fake Latin. It doesn't mean anything, but yeah, you get to kind of get the sense of what it is. So yeah, but that book, Ars Amatoria, was how to pick up Roman chicks.
Ooh.
That's what the essence of it was. It's always been around.
Interesting. That was 2000, or according to sources, 2023 years ago when that was kind of around. But that's pretty interesting. Did you ever like read that material, look into it, and
I did a little bit into Ovid. I read Casanova and I read Cellini, and I mean, I devoured Casanova when I was 18. I thought this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen because he had no money and he wandered the entire Europe, all over the place, from bed to bed. And I thought if he can do it, I can do it. So I was very influenced by Casanova's sense of ease and delight. He's just delighted by his life, and he never stressed about anything, and he wanted to leave the women better than when he found them. So he would have girls in different cities, but she was so sweet, and he liked her so much that he couldn't get himself to leave until he found her a husband. He would find a young man and introduce him, and when it was okay, then he would leave because he felt so bad because he had to leave. He wasn't the guy, right? I'm not going to be your boyfriend, but she would find him a boyfriend. He would find her a boyfriend, and then only then would he feel okay, now I can leave. He had a lot of empathy for women.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
I know lots
So
of I know lots of stuff. I could tell stories all day.
that's what we're here for.